That's a lousy shot.
Alright, you're live on the DVD.
Okay. Let me drink. Oop. Yep. Thanks. All right, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Frankie's son.
And I'm Mark.
Okay, a big Godzilla show like I promised. But first, just a couple announcements, really quick. This should take about a minute. Don't forget, we record these shows Saturday, and then it takes about 24 hours for the show to be uploaded to YouTube. And by Monday, the show is there on YouTube. In case you don't want to hear about spoilers, we're going to go ahead with spoilers because in 2 weeks, these movies are basically dead. Okay. We also have Instagram. That's my solo account. I upload pictures. You're going to see a lot of material relating to music. I'm expanding on that. I play guitar, piano. You're going to see and hear all original music that I compose. But of course, a lot of other pictures around town.
And your collection of cars?
My collection of cars. I bought a BMW. Don't let's not forget that.
Yes.
I always load some set of pictures during the week. Okay, and then next, Pinterest. Yes, I have. These are all my favorite things that like hobbies and movies, and especially Godzilla. I got a lot of behind the scenes making of photos all related to Godzilla from all the different movies, black and white, the colors and everything like that. We have technical problem, but you get the idea. And Pinterest, I'm known as Frankie's son. That's my solo moniker, and that has to do with the music. But anyway, there's more to explain in the next couple of shows coming up. What's going to happen is we're going to do 1-2 more live shows, and then these shows are going to be pre-recorded for the summer. We're going to come in here during the week, and the reason for that, we need our Saturdays and Sundays back. We both work as background actors. I'm working with 2 different bands and producing a solo album, and so I need my Saturday and Sundays back. So this is like the next to the last live show where we actually go live on Saturday at 5 p.m. Okay, and then we're actually going to conclude in July where we're going to go live. Well, not live, pre-recorded once a month starting in August, because the only thing in August is going to be Hobbs and Shaw, that movie, Fast and the Furious spin-off. And then it's going to be like that once a month in September. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm really getting tired of previewing and reviewing sequels and prequels and remakes and a bunch of other stuff. That's the only thing that's out there. Everything in June is basically, that's it. Sequels and prequels. But anyway, those are the websites. The next show, we expand on that. Also, we're going to do 1-hour specials, which will premiere on YouTube, not over here, believe it or not. Okay, so let's get into the top 10 box office. I'd like to thank everybody, Eminem and the crew, for helping out. Yes. Thanks, buddy. Okay, so box office. Here we go. Godzilla is only making $50 million compared to Godzilla 2014, which actually made almost $70 million on its weekend premiere. So it's a little bit off. We're going to review the movie in a minute. Number 2, Aladdin is a hit. Will Smith got away being blue. Okay. Rocket Man, it shouldn't have been rated R. Fantasies should not be rated R. I couldn't get a chance to catch up with that because I saw Godzilla tonight. Today we have the show. But anyway, we will have a review in the next show. Also, I will start having mini reviews, which I already did with Godzilla on Instagram. I gave it 4 out of 5. The story's too bloated, but the grand finale was fantastic. That's the way I put it on Instagram. Short, sweet, to the point, boom. So that's posted on Instagram. So if you want to take a look real quick. Howard movie, who cares? 20 million. John Wick, the movie that's responsible for kicking Captain America and the team off the top 10. Okay? Talk about the top 10. Endgame is at number 6. And I said, by Memorial Day weekend, we should find out if Endgame will take out Avatar as the biggest worldwide movie of all time. Nope, came up short. It's about $100 million short of beating Avatar for the all-time box office worldwide. That is, and still about 120 off for American all-time box office, U.S. box office, to take out Force Awakens. That's not gonna happen. Okay.
Oh well.
Yeah. The Endgame is basically dying out in the U.S. Everybody went to see it. Want to see it repeats twice or 3 times. Saw it Memorial Day weekend. So Endgame is basically kind of dead in the U.S. box office. Some country wants to see it again, like China. Maybe it can beat Avatar. At this rate, it looks like Endgame, Avengers Endgame is the second biggest movie of all time. Well, it didn't beat Avatar, it didn't beat Star Wars, so that's the end of that.
So you're saying that homage they did to the last episode of Voyager didn't work out?
No, it didn't work out. They bit them in the ass. That's another thing fans from what I heard, they got pissed off that they took the concept of Voyager for Avengers.
Yes.
I mean,
and the Russo brothers finally fessed up to it, and they said it was an homage.
An homage.
So like when I forgot now his name, when he took the concept of the first Star Wars film and put in the Force Awakens, and then he eventually fessed up to it. Says it's an homage. It's an homage.
I haven't added this, so I ripped something else off. That's all that is.
Yeah. Some people like would call it plagiarism if we did it at a university or a college or high school, but in Hollywood, it's an homage.
It's an homage, yes. Okay. A quick trivia question. Like I said, I didn't see Rocket Man as of yet. Mini review on Instagram, but it's not doing very good, as good as Bohemian Rhapsody, and it's because there's really some intense scenes with drugs and everything like that. Russia has already been noted in the Hollywood Reporter. They went and did some heavy editing in Russia.
Yep.
They took a lot of scenes out.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But I said, it went ahead and played in Russia. China doesn't want to touch it. Whoosh. Even after the editing, they said it's a little bit too heavy for them. But
so sad.
Yeah, but the thing, Bohemian Rhapsody played to a new generation that never really heard of the band or knew what the band was about. Elton John is always doing tours. Last year he did like a greatest hits done by other people. Miley Cyrus sang "The Bitch Is Back" and so forth. A lot of country stars redid the songs, and they came up with a 2 CD set collection. So Elton John's been heard a lot in the past couple of years. So it's not really something surprisingly. But here's a little trivia. Eddie the Eagle, great movie, supposedly based on a true story. Of course, Taron Egerton plays Elton John. Of course, he's from the Kingsman, right?
Yes.
The Kingsman.
That's where he met. That's probably where he met Elton John in the second Kingsman movie.
In second, exactly right. And Elton felt that Taron Egerton could do it. The little trivia: what does Wolverine have anything to do with Rockman? Very simple. This picture stars Hugh Jackman as a drunk ex-ski Olympic medal award winner, whatever you call it. And he's all washed up, and he drives a truck, measuring the ice and all that stuff. And Eddie the Eagle, Eddie is a simple country boy, whatever, and he's really clumsy. And people tell him, listen, you're not a skier, okay? You're clumsy, you fall on your face all the time. Hugh Jackman, being drunk, said, okay, I'll teach you how to be a good skier. And of course, he wins the medal at the end. Really good friendship buddy movie. So a little
spoilers.
The true story. He wins at the end. What you call it? So. I definitely recommend Eddie the Eagle. So here's my little trivia. What does Rockman have anything to do with Wolverine? These two stars got together for this, so I would definitely recommend it. So let's get to our review of Godzilla, because we got a lot of Godzilla. Now, this is going to be sort of like a prequel, because when Godzilla comes out on DVD and Blu-ray, we're going to do a big expansion. I'm going to bring out all my Godzilla things I got, all my action figures. I got the whole collection of, I decided this little set here, talking particularly about King Ghidorah or King Ghidra, that's originally known in the U.S. A lot of people always argue with me with that. No, it's King Ghidorah, it's not King Ghidra. When the movie was first released in 1964 in the U.S., it was known as King Ghidra because the people distributing the movie didn't know how to spell or pronounce King Ghidorah. So they said it, Ghidra, close enough. And that's how that came to be. But anyway, let's start with you. What do you think about the movie?
I don't want to be too judgmental on it, but it sort of seems like I always say this, like beating a dead horse, how I always say that a lot of action films, they seem that they rely heavily on the drama of an action film because action costs money. So in order, they heavily like throw themselves on drama because drama is inexpensive. So it's funny. It's sort of like seeing a drama film and then out of nowhere, boom, action breaks out.
That's an old thing of Star Trek as a good example. When they did the Borg, the studio at that time gave them a lot of money to do the Borg episode. The two-parter, right? Because it was all action and special effects and spaceships and everything like that, and they blew their allowance basically. Okay,
Yes.
they blew their budget on those that two-parter. Locutus was his name. Captain Picard becomes a Borg.
Yes.
And so the studio said and told the writers, okay, you blew your budget for 5 episodes. So the next episode, film it in the backyard somewhere. And that's what they created, where Picard goes back to Paris, back to France.
Yes, and fights with his brother in the dirt.
Right. That was all done behind a wall on stage 15 somewhere. They couldn't afford no budget.
Yeah.
They took one of the stages, they redressed it as the house. Okay, inside the house, they hired the famous actress to play the wife of the brother who greets Picard, and the episode ends yak, 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 yak. It filmed all inside the house, and the big action finale, he fights his brother. And
I never understood why did they make Picard a Frenchman? Why not just make him English? You know, it's sort of like, they would even say that he would go in and out of the accent.
Right.
So there was like people were being confused. What is he, English or is he French?
No, because Gene Roddenberry noticed him on a play. Somebody recommended him, Gene, you got to see this actor. And he said, oh, you know, and he also wanted to dedicate something to the French instead of being English. And he saw, what's his name? Captain Picard? Patrick Stewart.
Yes,
he saw him as an English guy doing a French accent. He said, that's exactly what I want, and that's where he got the role. But besides that, as far as the plot point and drama goes, you know, the thing, you're right, the movie is too bloated, too much plot. You don't like the characters?
No, I don't like the characters. It's sort of like they started trying to get people who, for example, I forgot her name, Bobby Brown or Vicky Bobby Brown or something like that.
The girl from Strange Days.
Yes, this is from Strange Things from Netflix. All of a sudden they want to push her, Stranger Things. Yeah, they're trying to push her as a major actor. And you see this all the time. Like, they'll try to grab somebody, like what they did with that actress who played Mary Jane in Spider-Man Homecoming. And they say, she's going to be the next big thing, the next big thing. And then all of a sudden, the things that she's in doesn't really go anywhere. Or like what they did with Star Wars, and they said, "Oh yes, this actress is going to be the biggest thing, the biggest actress." What's her name?
What, the Asian actress in Star Wars?
Yes.
Yeah, and everybody hated her.
The name of the character. Remember the name of the character?
Because
I don't want to. Right, and they push these on you, and you feel that they're pushing. It's sort of like a wrestling terminology. When they grab this person, they do this push, this hard push, and they keep putting them in movies and keep giving them majority of it. At one point, in the beginning, it didn't make any sense. Why were they putting her through so much danger? Why didn't they leave her someplace safe? But then it started coming to understanding why she's doing this, and then out of nowhere, not to do spoilers, but this is going to be spoilers, folks, they make her do the meme. And I told Frank, oh, you believe they made her do the meme? And he's like saying to me, what the heck's that? It's sort of like when those 90s things were a thing, where one of the more popular memes was in they had this little girl smiling behind a burning building, and she's like maybe like 10 or 11, and she's like smiling, and someone takes a picture of that, uploads it on the internet, and everybody says, oh my goodness, this little girl is really smiling at tragedy, and they made her do the same meme. Like have a hair wet, like in a rainstorm when something's burning, King Ghidra is behind her, and all of a sudden Godzilla burns, and then she's like smiling.
Oh, that part, and Fenway Park Stadium, right?
Yeah, that's the meme.
Oh, that's the meme?
Yeah, that was thrown for the millennial internet generation.
That was a waste. I mean, the thing that bothered me is, let's talk about Godzilla itself. The special effects were great. Okay,
Yes.
they got King Ghidorah, King Ghidorah, whatever, and all the three heads all had different personalities. One was always nagging the other one on the left. So they got that right. Well, then the fire demon, they got that right. The Mothra wasn't given enough. My problem was I finally found out the budget was $200 million, and they bring out all the other Titans. Okay, one of them is I believe manga or whatever. It was a spider from Destroy All Monsters. Okay, they had a new one where it looked like the elephant with the tusk.
Yes.
Okay.
Like a woolly mammoth.
A woolly mammoth, yeah. And then the other two, one was it looked like sort of like, well, one of them was a monarch, another monarch. Another one looked like Anguillus. That was the second monster in the series where Godzilla fights. But they made just cameos, and they did the same.
Oh, and King Kong.
King Kong does make a cameo
from the back.
From the back, yeah, but really quick. Spoiler, but we suggest this. The movie opens with no credits whatsoever. Boom, it gets right into it. The guy and the couple with the daughter, and this is where the Godzilla fights one of the monarchs, and Godzilla makes appearance right there. First minute of the movie, boom, right there, and you see San Francisco destroyed. It was a flashback. You see the parents, they found out the son died, and that's why mom says, okay, I'm going to do things my way now. Flash forward 5 years.
Give the people what they want.
Right. So. And then Mothra makes an appearance right at the very beginning. Then the movie starts dragging. They really get into the subplot about the eco-pirates and villains, and it's like it became really bloated. It's sort of like Endgame. You see Endgame the second time around, you really don't want to know anything about Tony Scott's father.
I mean, too, like they go into the origin stories.
Yeah.
Too much origin stories.
Yeah, you just want to see the time travel and get to the fight at the beginning. This is what happens with this here. They take the time introducing the creatures, and then they get all the subplot was not necessary. They introduce more characters than necessary because the film becomes bloated. But the payoff at the end was fantastic. Dan takes on Mothra. Godzilla takes on King Ghidorah. The other Titans, they don't show up. This is basically a square fight. But the special effects were great, but I felt cheated. If you spent $200 million, how about less plot, less characters, and it should have concentrated on the tyrants. This is the same mistake that they made with 2014. Guys saying, I got to get to my family.
They're doing a lot of exposition because they're trying to bring in not just the hardcore fans. I think they're trying to create new fans.
They're trying to create a new fan base. I think it's a big mistake. A Godzilla movie should be no more than 90 minutes, okay, and just have the creatures fight.
Yeah, what was it, like 2 hours?
This was a bloated 2 hours, and they did the same mistake like Gareth Edwards. But they finally got the creatures right, the detail. You see a lot of close-ups of the monsters' faces. You get to see the personalities. They got that right. You get to see all three heads talking to each other, King Ghidorah. All three heads got different personalities. I think that was a great job. Rodan actually has some personality. There's a scene where Mothra is up against the wall, and Rodan is like attacking it, and Mothra's like moving the head around like that, and you see the beak going right at the camera. Real intense close-up. I think that's what's fantastic. If you can put it with the first hour, you enjoy the second hour. Okay, but it's the same mistake with Gareth Edwards did with 2014. Too many damn characters. Now, real quick trivia: Gareth Edwards wanted to do the next picture with Mechagodzilla. They said, no way. We got to introduce the Titans and get the spinners so we can get ready for King Kong. Michael Dougherty has hinted that he wants to do, well, we're running out of time. This is the original Godzilla, black and white. Excellent commentary, by the way. Okay? He mentioned Videoland. This is like a really fan favorite. I don't know why. He fights a giant plant. And the sequel of this was Space Godzilla, which was one of the worst entries ever. When we do our Godzilla special, it's going to be a 1 hour special. Half of it is going to be we had an M&N. It's going to be a pre-recorded show special, but it's going to be a full-blown hour on YouTube. So we're going to bring out all the DVDs, all the action figures I got. It's going to be a full-blown Godzilla show.
Or if you want, you could take a picture of what you have, and then we can put it as a backdrop. That way you don't have to carry so much stuff.
That's another idea. Yes, we could do that. Or, as a matter of fact, I'm putting pictures up on Pinterest. That's why I showed you Pinterest.
But I'm saying, you could take a picture of your shelf, and then you put it in the background, and that way you don't have to carry anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's another idea. This one is Godzilla vs. Destroyer. The reason Destroyer is a favorite of mine also is because Destroyer has 3 different shapes. First, it's like more like a little crab, and then it turns into a flying crab, and then at the end of the movie, he turns into this big giant, like I don't know, fire dragon demon or something like that. So he develops 3 different shapes. And also, Godzilla Jr. is in this movie, and Michael Dougherty was thinking of making this a remake. The next one is going to be Godzilla vs. King Kong, but this movie definitely hints, because, well, I don't know, the big spoiler at the end, the audience was clapping. Godzilla, he kills King Ghidorah, of course you know that, you saw it in the trailer, but the Titans surround Godzilla, and they all kind of do the Japanese bow, and audience was clapping, the sun is coming up and stuff like that, and he does the big bark, and the movie ends like that, and the audience was really clapping and cheering. But it all hints to one of everybody's favorite, Destroy All Monsters. Okay, I don't have the DVD on me on that one, but that's what the movie hints. But they do acknowledge Godzilla vs. King Kong. Okay, so what I definitely recommend is, this is classic media. This is the original 3-headed. It says Ghidorah over here, but it's. On the back it says Ghidorah. Anyway, the commentaries are fantastic.
You say tomato, they say tomato.
Thank you. This has an audio commentary by David Kalat, and this guy was on, I don't know how many cups of cappuccino when he was doing the commentary. This guy is speeding through the whole movie.
Damn.
And he loves this movie, you know. I said, oh, this is the reason why Godzilla's got to fight against Godzilla. So it's really fun commentary. Most commentaries are really boring. This is really, really fun commentary. And of course, Astro Monster was also known as Godzilla vs. Monster Zero, which is mentioned in the movie. They actually go back to refer to the names and everything like that. I definitely still recommend Godzilla.
Yeah, because I was also saying to you, which you should probably expand on, where I was saying, hey, where's I forgot the
Gamera, the turtle.
Gamera. Where's Gamera?
Okay, it's funny because in the Monarch they show you the map where all the creatures are hidden. Okay, all the different depots or whatever you want to call it, depots, whatever. And one of them, and over the map there, is the shape of a turtle, but it's not mentioned as Gamera because it's legal. Gamera is owned by another studio, and they're holding on to the rights. They made a new Gamera back in the 1990s, which was a fantastic trilogy. Toronto's trying to get the rights. Legendary Warner Brothers, who own the U.S. rights, are trying to get those rights, and the people who own Gamera said no way. But it is mentioned on the map that they can name it Gamera, but it's the shape of a turtle, and everybody knows there's only one turtle, and that's Gamera. So into the legal rights, and also before they spend another $200 million on that, they got to see how this movie performs.
Yes.
Because if not, Michael Dougherty wants to do Godzilla vs. Destroyer. The movie hints at Destroy All Monsters, which is the total recap of all the Titans, and of course, with the next film is King Kong vs. Godzilla.
So you're saying it's got to do endgame numbers?
It's got to do endgame. I mean, there's an old trick. Remember Roger Corman? He used to do all these B movies. Yes. He did a movie. It was in one of the commentators of one of his movies, and the director said, "I need an extra like $100,000 to film this scene." And I said, "No, you don't." But it's in the script. The script is screaming for $100,000 for this scene. He went to the script and he went like this, and tore it out of the script, threw the page down, and said, "Now you don't need $100,000 because the page is not in the script no more." That was his way to fix the budget.
That's good. You should.
That's what they should have done.
They should always do it. Stop bloating the budget, because you're just going to hurt yourself in the long run, and you're not going to be able to go back to the well.
They spent too much money on that plane, for example. That special jet that they had, that somehow it flew where? It flew from Alaska to South America and DC in about what, 20 minutes? They don't explain how that thing got around all over the place, but it does explain how Godzilla manages to get to all these different countries, because he has underwater tunnels.
So he's doing through like a wormhole or whatever.
Yeah, it's some kind of self-made wormhole that the Earth has and stuff like that.
It'd be great if that plane was able to do like a Stargate or a wormhole or whatever.
Yeah.
Had to be historical.
Yeah, of course that was based on the Super X. There's a lot of
The X-Men?
no, Super X was in a. It looked like a waffle iron, for crying out loud. It premiered in the Godzilla 1985, or Godzilla's Return, and it was a special spaceship with laser to fight Godzilla. So Godzilla was fighting a sort of like spaceship. They call it Super X, kind of dumb. So that was a reference to that. There's a lot of tidbits, a lot of Easter eggs sprinkled all over the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Some of the audience was catching, they were clapping, but there was people. One guy was stretching in the aisle. A couple head to head like this. Like, can we get the monster fights? The audience was kind of bored.
Too much of the drama.
Too much of the drama, and that's what's hurting the movie. So if they want to save money on the script, tear the pages out where people are talking. Nobody cares about the dialogue. They want to see monsters fighting. If I was to destroy monsters, you get 90 minutes tops of massive fighting. And maybe I'll take 5 minutes introducing one of the characters.
Yeah, maybe.
I spent a half hour on the fairies themselves, the cutie pies.
If you do a 90-minute film, I think that's good enough. But everyone thinks now you have to do a bloated film. If you do 90, you have more times to shoot to show the film.
Exactly.
And then you'll make some of your money back.
Well, maybe then.
And stop hiring celebrities, because no one really cares about the celebrities. It's sort of like if you do a John Wick movie, like a Keanu Reeves movie, action movie, or if you do a Tom Cruise action movie. Stop hiring all these other people that you think are worth their millions, because they're not. These are the only people care about. Either you're Keanu Reeves or you're Tom Cruise. No one's going to take the spotlight off him. It's sort of like if you have Godzilla. I don't care if you hire, let me know, Tom Hanks and tell me he's in a film.
And I don't care. Yeah, it's not necessary.
It's not.
Nah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you want to see Mothra because that's always been a staple.
Yeah. Cameron. Who would you want to see?
Well, I got my favorites. I got Rodan, King Ghidorah, and Mothra. Because those are the staples of the movies. They always come back in one form or another. For example, let me see. Which one is it, real quick? Well, okay, here's a good example. And I mentioned this before. Godzilla and Mothra, the battle for Earth. They introduce evil Mothra. His little brother is an evil butterfly, and basically the evil butterfly becomes a good guy at the end, helps Mothra defeat Godzilla. This time in this particular movie, it wasn't a remake. Well, it was kind of a remake of Godzilla vs. The Thing. That's the first time introduced. Before Mothra became an ally and a friend of Godzilla, like in this movie, there were enemies, and that's what Godzilla vs. The Thing back in 1964, I believe. It was 62, 63, well, early 60s. Anyway, so in this movie, they decided to remake it, but introduce him as an evil brother, Mothra. So Godzilla was fighting two butterflies. At the end of the movie, the evil Mothra joins the good Mothra, and they fight Godzilla at the end. A good variation, and they did a lot of remakes of the original series. I think that one has which one is it?
This one has Destroyer.
Oh, Destroyer. Okay, this has a Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. This is a time travel movie where they turn King Ghidorah into like a robot. And then that one fights Godzilla. Again, a variation.
You never liked that one about the robot Godzilla?
Yeah, the robot King Ghidorah. Too much time travel. They spend so much time in time travel.
We got less than a minute.
Anyway, like I said, there will be a Godzilla special. So this is kind of like a preview of what's going on.
Yeah. Shout outs to my brother. Happy birthday.
Okay, everybody, we'll be back in 2 weeks on Saturdays, okay? And then we'll give the final announcement of what's going to happen with the specials and the pre-recorders, because we can't really say anything unless we block those dates, and we haven't got a chance to block those dates. So anyway, so just stay tuned for that in 2 weeks. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy Godzilla. I definitely recommend. Sorry I couldn't review Rocketman, but I'm a big fan, Elton John fan, and I'm probably going to like the movie either way. So who the hell, what the critics say?
We're almost out.
So, okay, everybody, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks for tuning in.
And we out.
Repeat on YouTube on Monday. Thanks.
Please subscribe.
Okay, get a friend that takes some more pictures. The video is still on.